Okay. So I hope you see. I'm just repeating where Shakespeare in the Park is going to be. And again, thanks for bearing with me. I've got to get the story of uh, Antony and Cleopatra down. And it's actually pretty interesting. Once I started reading, I couldn't stop for its own sake, not just for nepotism. Uh, so anyway, Cleopatra's dynasty, the Ptolemy, started with Alexander the Great. And it's been going on almost 300 years when we get to our story. Um, Alexander, of course, built the empire in just 12 years, capturing the whole Asian landmass and parts of Europe as well. Um,
Not quite all of Asia.
no, you're correct. You're correct. And this is a beautiful statue in the Brooklyn Museum, which we've seen, the bust of Alexander. Of course, he was considered a god. When he died, the empire really fell apart. There were three branches, the Seleucids and the Ptolemies and one more. But it's the Ptolemies that were focused on. And it was a real soap opera, absolute soap opera. So the interesting thing is how close Alexandria was to Rome. 1,100 miles, 14 days by ship, which back in those days is rapid transit. Um, the uh, this is the outline of what Ptolemy the First, Shakespeare. Oh man, what Alexander's first in command uh, does when Alexander dies at the age of 33. He hijacks the body of Alexander, takes it to Alexandria, creates a mausoleum, and makes him a god. Um, this is the part of the Seleucid part that the Ptolemies lost for a while. Um, and then fast forward now to the Mediterranean 50 years BC. And this is the end of Shakespeare, Caesar's Gallic Wars. All Gauls divided into three parts, and they managed to take in Hispania and Gaul, France and Spain. Um, and um, so you can see Rome in yellow at 50 years BC after Julius Caesar's major conquests. Um, and so here's Cleopatra. What does Cleopatra mean? It means a daughter who loves her father, a father-loving goddess, and as she was referred to. And uh, you look at her, and maybe you're not stunned by the beauty of today's standards, but she was quite a gal. She was also very skillful as a politician. uh, and very good at geopolitics. Um, you'll remember that her father had been the king of Egypt, and uh, her sister uh, was her older sister was upset with her father for being too servile to Rome. Egypt was Rome's breadbasket. And that's what they certainly needed fuel for conquest. So her sister uh, deposed her father for being too servile to Rome. Um, and Cleopatra loved her father, was upset about that, and uh, decided that she would entreat Rome uh, to expand their sphere of influence and put her father back on the throne. So it was a tricky maneuver. And to get Caesar's ear, she famously had herself smuggled into the Roman court uh, in and inside a carpet, and unrolled the carpet, and there she was. Uh, they started plotting to get Cleopatra's father back on the throne, where he would continue to be a client of Rome. Um, and then she seduced Caesar into the bargain. Um, Mark Antony was in Caesar's orbit by that time, so he most certainly met uh, Cleopatra back in the 50s. Um, Cleopatra was on her own quest for godliness. She claimed to be a manifestation of Isis, the Egyptian god, widely admired, not just in Egypt, but all throughout the Mediterranean. She had a real following. And this is where she ranked in the Egyptian pantheon, along with her mate Osiris. Um, and she had hitched her wagon to that. Um, she was known as the younger goddess and had that stamped on Egyptian coins. Um, she also was painted. And when we were in Pompeii a couple of years ago with Pepper, we saw some of these oils. It was pretty astounding. And this is said to be Cleopatra. Um, and Pompeii had a temple of Isis, so they were on the bandwagon with Egyptian gods. So the busy years, this is really much too busy. I'm just going to give you a couple of dates from this, and it's all down in this corner. This is when her sister deposes her father for 3 years, and then the Romans help Cleopatra and her father get back on the throne. And then her father, out of gratitude, puts Cleopatra right alongside him. And when he dies in 51 BC, Cleopatra is made the well, Pharaoh, yeah, Pharaohness, I guess, But she uh, uh, undergoes a second threat in the year 48 when her brother starts resenting her and starts plotting against her. And once again, the Romans come to the rescue. The first time they saved her father and put him back on the throne. And now they get rid of Cleopatra's brother who's mucking around. And so this is in the year 48. And out of gratitude, Caesar fathers a kid with Cleopatra named Caesarion by Cleopatra, making sure everybody understands who the father is. And so he's born in 47. So look what's happened in a matter of 7 years. Cleopatra rescues her father, gets him back on the throne. He dies. She takes over. Her brother is jealous and um, following the soap opera that is the Ptolemaic dynasty, tries to depose her, but Caesar gets her back on the throne and impregnates her. So quite a life. But there's other stuff going on at the same time. And so what is Caesar doing in his spare time? Uh, I told you the year before 49, he had done very well. All Gaul was divided into three parts under his control. Um, and then he gets ambitious himself, and he wants to take his troops back to Rome and use his troops as a power base. This is a no-no in the Senate. You can't do that. Um, the rule is you can't go south of a river in northern uh, uh, Italy. Yeah, go up and conquer Gaul, bring your troops back down for R&R, but whatever you do, don't go south of the Rubicon because that's felt to be misusing troops for political purposes. And Caesar throws caution to the wind and crosses the Rubicon. And many senators leave the country. They go to Greece. And it's a little more complicated, but I'm going to leave it that simple. Uh, and so uh, in 48, um, Caesar gets rid of all the opposition. There was hell to pay when he crossed the Rubicon. And the resistance was led by Pompey. A big battle, and breaks out into civil war. You can't cross the Rubicon. And here, I won't go through all the details of this, but Julius Caesar is able to defeat all that object to his crossing the Rubicon. So it's in the context of crossing the Rubicon and 4 years of civil war that we get to 44 BC. So that's the setup for the assassination, and it just didn't come out of anywhere. Um, so Cleopatra is impregnated, and at the same time she has this kid, Caesarion, and she brings him to Rome just to make sure that everybody knows that Egypt and Rome now have bloodlines tied together. And she takes him to Rome specifically to display him in public. Cleopatra's got a son. I wonder who the father is. And she ends all the puzzling and makes it clear who the father is. And so uh, there we go. Look at the 10 years since 58 BC, when her father is deposed by her sister. In that 10 years, all I've just told you is 5 lifetimes showing the soap opera capabilities of the Ptolemies. Um, so uh, Roman society is scandalized, and of course, Caesar's assassinated. Um, what's happening back in Egypt? Back in Egypt, they're celebrating. Our queen seduced their king, and I say king because Caesar was toying with the idea of making him self king, and that's in the play. It's in 2 plays, actually. It's in Julius Caesar, where he gets assassinated, and it's also in Antony and Cleopatra. Caesar toying with the idea of being a king. Thank God in this country we have a no kings tradition. Um, so, and this is at a famous temple that we visited when we were there, Dendera Temple. Um, so Caesar and Cleopatra, at least in Cleopatra's mind, have agreed to full unification. In Caesar's mind, nah, Egypt's pretty much just another province, an important province, because it's the breadbasket of the Mediterranean, now that Carthage has been destroyed by the Romans after Hannibal exploits. So Egypt's the breadbasket. Um, and this, it's truly a unique mercantile maritime civilization centered at Alexandria. And so Cleopatra is in particular interested in a single currency. Uh, she is interested in spreading the diplomatic heft of Egypt. So she has learned many languages. They say 9. But remember, she's Greek. The Ptolemaic dynasty is a Greek dynasty. So she and her forebears have been speaking Greek. She learns Egyptian in addition to Latin. So she's quite something. Now Mark Antony's entering the picture, and I'm guilty of this. I say Anthony, but there's no H. Antony, Mark Antony, and he is a supporter of Julius Caesar. He's related to Julius Caesar. So there is a blood link there. But he's pretty much an ordinary general, but he's quite capable and is promoted and eventually becomes a general. And he would have met Cleopatra certainly somewhere in that 10-year span, um, possibly quite early in 58 BC when she and her father were in exile in Rome. Um, and Caesar and Antony did not always get along swimmingly. Uh, with powerful men, there were conflicts, and in their case, it was when Caesar went back to Africa to fight battles in the Civil War. He left Mark Antony uh, uh, managing Rome, and it was said that Antony was involved in veteran benefit corruptions. Uh, and Caesar came back and demoted him, replaced him with a guy named Lepidus, who's going to be a member of a triumvirate after Caesar's assassinated. Um, and uh, so, but they reconcile and are back together by the year 45. And in fact, they were elected co-consuls together in 45. Um, uh, just a word about uh, Antony and his women. It's going to end up with Cleopatra as his last wife, but uh, the wife that we can start with is Fulvia, uh, and he's been married to her for 3 or 4 years at this point. Um, so their bonds survive, and uh, uh, Antony considers himself a kind of a bodyguard for Caesar. Yeah, Homer.
Well, just back the slide. It says, I love the drawing. That's Sylvester Stallone in the lower right, if I'm not right, not
Yes,
mistaken.
yes.
Was he in a movie about Antony and Cleopatra or something?
I don't think so. I think I was just, I guess I got to have a visual at some point of Caesar and Antony.
Okay.
So I sold my soul on that, but it's the best I could find. You would have been bored and had nothing to say about the others.
Thank you, John.
Yes. So he considered himself a bodyguard. I've already talked about how in the play Julius Caesar, Antony teases Caesar about wanting to be a king, but it was a real thing. And it certainly turned off the conspirators. Uh, and they knew that Antony would protect him um, uh, if they tried to assassinate him. So, on a ruse, they got him out of the Senate on the morning he was assassinated. Um, and so here we are. This is the moment. Brutus and Cassius, 60 senators were part of the plot. So it wasn't just a small thing. And they made sure with 23 stab wounds. So I guess some of them just pretended to stab. Um, but that was it. Perhaps the most famous assassination in history. I don't know. You might say Lincoln is up there, but that would just be American history. So, of course, we famously know from Shakespeare's Julius Caesar that Antony delivers the funeral oration, friends, Romans, countrymen. Uh, and it was such an impactful speech. Uh, and Antony, given what happened subsequently, was such a hero for standing up to the conspirators. I can stop calling them conspirators because after the assassination, they become known as liberators, the liberator camp. Now, and they'll carry that until the end of the Civil War when they're disgraced and no longer considered liberators. But for Antony to get up at this time with a strong faction of 60 senators required some courage, and it was memorialized with this coin. Um, now, there's one more character that we've got to talk about, and that's Octavian. So who's Octavian? He is also a relative of uh, Julius Caesar, um, and he is Caesar's uh, great nephew. Great nephew. But Caesar doesn't have kids of his own. And so he has adopted Octavian. Now, this naming has always got me confused for a long time. Uh, but this is where Octavian fits in. He, hold on to your hats, is going to become Augustus Caesar, the greatest emperor of all time. But right now, he's Octavian, the great nephew. When he takes power, he'll eventually, I think about 5 years later, will earn the title Augustus Caesar. And he was very different than his great uncle. Uh, he realized how his great uncle had dug his own grave, literally, by teasing about being a king. So he was very circumspect, retiring almost when it came to power. And all the power he got was foisted upon him. At least he made it look that way. So, two very different Caesars, two very different strategies. But Augustus Caesar was more canny and long lived. So this is uh, Julius Caesar's death mask, and he had arranged before his death uh, for his great nephew to inherit not only all his wealth but also all of his titles. So he, at the age of 18,
Sec.
at the age of 18, was entitled to inherit Julius Caesar's power. And he more than did that. Um, so Cleopatra,
We scared them off.
she was really upset because she had been led to believe by Julius Caesar that her son, Caesarion, was going to inherit Julius Caesar's title and power, which was probably wildly irrational for her to think that that would have even been possible in a Rome uh, that distrusted her. Um, but she would hang on for another 14 years, Cleopatra, and hoping against hope that uh, she could get the Ptolemy dynasty somehow to share Roman power. So this is Octavian, the future Augustus. And get ready, there's another complication. Julius Shakespeare, Julius Caesar also had a great niece. And to make it hard for you, her name was Octavia, no N on the end. So they were, in fact, brother and sister. And she is going to come back into the plot a little bit later with her brother. Um, so, uh, I've already said all this. We can skip this. Later on, I'll just give you a clue. Octavia is going to help her brother, Octavian, by marrying Mark Antony at a crucial moment, undercutting Cleopatra. That's coming later. Um, so Cleopatra, after the assassination, Cleopatra's distraught. Obviously, so is Mark Antony, having lost his main patron and relative, and he joins Cleopatra back in Alexandria, and he gets there, and he has duties now. He's going to Alexandria to go on to Tarsus, which is a province that Rome knows it has to secure. And Octavian and the other members of the triumphant Lepidus, they say, okay, Anthony, we got a triumvirate here. You go to Tarsus, which is, you'll remember from the Bible, Saul of Tarsus, based in Syria. You go there and get ready to conquer. And there are a few ambitious nationalities that are resisting Rome, and you've had a series of civil wars. But Anthony's there and getting ready to go on to Tarsus, and he is dazzled by Alexandria and Cleopatra's court. And as you already know, he's also going to fall in love with Cleopatra. And, and in fact, she bends him to her will in Alexandria by having him murder some of her political rivals in the Ptolemaic dynasty. I said it was a soap opera. So this is the map of the Roman Republic right after the assassination. And notice the red group. These are the liberators. So look, the liberators have control over a lot of land, so far from being uh, 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 tossed out. They are able to control land. Um, so I won't go into the rest of this, but you can say here's the triumvirate: Antony in green. So Gaul, Asia Minor, Lepidus, Spain, in brown, and Octavian, um, Caesar's nephew, is given control of Rome, and they give that to him because it's going to be the hardest job. Because right in Rome and immediately around, you're going to have the sharpest conflicts. So Antony gets a relatively easy assignment. Um, uh, and he loves Alexandria, and he is coming to love Cleopatra. Um, and so he's there for 3 years as they successfully wipe out the liberators. Um, but by the spring of 40, he leaves Egypt, and he heads off to Tarsus for a longer period of time. Cleopatra visits him there, and they have the wherewithal to live pretty well in Tarsus. Um, uh, and the liberators are now totally gone. And Cleopatra starts clashing with Octavian. She's still very upset that her son, Caesarion, was shut out by Octavian, not given any power at all. And so she worked with Antony and Lepidus, kind of conniving behind the scenes at Octavian. So here's the first split, maybe engendered by Cleopatra, in the triumvirate. The triumvirate's been successful, but the most dangerous point in an alliance is when they've succeeded, and now they're kind of reshuffling their priorities. So spoiler alert, when Cleopatra dies in the year 30, the first thing that Octavian does is kill Caesarion. He does not want that child alive in any way, shape, or form. To use Egypt as a power base against his power in Rome. And that's what great emperors like Augustus Caesar have to do. This is a also from Dendera, a ceiling painting honoring Cleopatra. So I've shown you the frieze where Cleopatra and Caesarion are honored on the murals of stone murals of Egypt. And this is also honoring the last of the Ptolemaic pharaohs. So she's the end of the Ptolemaic line. And Rome controls the politics. There's no more Egyptian power base. So it's an extraordinary ceiling honoring a very historic moment when you think about the dynasties of Egypt. My God, they go back 3,000 years. Um, so okay, Anthony's wives, because this plays into the soap opera big time. He had a couple other wives we don't need to worry about, but just know that there were two of them. Fulvia, I've already talked about. She married him in 46 BC, and she died in 40. Um, Cicero, there's a famous name for you, uh, became Antony's most dangerous public enemy after Caesar's assassination. He delivered speeches attacking Antony personally. So he probably was somehow uh, in connivance with the liberators. So he has come publicly out against Antony. I don't know if he says anything about Caesar, but he very well could have. And so, what was Fulvia's revenge? She had Cicero decapitated. Told you, it's a soap opera. Um, and then Antony uh, went into a political marriage with Octavia at the urging of Lepidus. And so he had prodded him. Um, Cleopatra was absolutely distraught, and it was probably Lepidus. His real target was Cleopatra, but he got Antony to marry Octavia. Now, Antony uh, had issue from Cleopatra as well, twins, in fact. And so in the year 37, Antony sends Octavia back to Italy. Um, she was pregnant, and Antony needed to go to Tarsus, also known as Antioch, to prepare for the invasion of the Parthians. So once his wife had gone home, who does he send for? He sends for Cleopatra. And the uh-oh, what went wrong? Something went wrong.
Hmm.
Got it. Um, so the other complicating thing is Cleopatra's pregnant again with Antony and her third child. And Antony had rewarded Cleopatra because she was helping him resupply to attack Parthia. So he rewarded her with parts of Cyprus and Lebanon. And so she was quite quite happy with that because it gave her Egypt a larger slice of Alexander's main legacy, this part of the Seleucid um, dynasty. And so Octavian, he is not without arrows and bullets. And so Octavian goes public with Antony's relation with Cleopatra and really scapegoats Cleopatra. And in the Senate, he reads a copy of Antony's will, which says that when he dies, he wants to be buried in Alexandria next to Cleopatra. Now, that is, I'm not sure he realized that Octavian would make that public, but it's devastating, needless to say. And then things start going wrong for Antony. The Parthian campaign, the Parthians are stronger than he thought, and the Octavian attacking Antony like he did only drove Antony deeper into her arms. So this whole thing is getting turbocharged with emotion. And he is grateful for Cleopatra for helping rebuild his army, but she also built a navy for him, which he was not an admiral and didn't know how to fight at sea, but she built it. Thought he could use it. And any minor triumph that he had in this fight against Parthia, he doesn't celebrate in Rome. He celebrates in Alexandria and shares the credit with Cleopatra, which only makes matters worse. By the way, Antony gives Cleopatra a title to a part of Mesopotamia as well, out of gratitude. So it all comes to an end at the Battle of Actium in 31 BC. And here Octavian makes a mistake and relies on the navy, which he doesn't know how to use very well, and is defeated at this historic battle. And during the battle, Cleopatra panics. She has stored her money, so confident was she, that some of her money was on one of the ships, and she made a mistake by trying to protect the ship. And she, at one point, skedaddles. And there she is, fleeing a battle that Antony is losing. And he had little choice but to follow as well. So this is a total debacle. And it comes to, they both flee back to Alexandria. In vain, Cleopatra tries to negotiate with Octavian to get some of her kids in a position of power. No deal. And he says to Cleopatra, I'll only do it if you kill Antony. And she says, nope, she's not going to do that. Um, so uh, Antony is totally bereft. His troops have deserted him because he is relied on the Navy and fled the scene of the battle with Cleopatra. And so they go back to Alexandria in total shame. And there's a little plot twist reminiscent of Romeo and Juliet. One of the generals there tricks Antony into thinking Cleopatra has already killed herself.
Rich and Kavanaugh.
And so he stabs himself and dies. And then she comes in, just like in Romeo and Juliet, and sees that Antony is dead. So she clutches that asp, that poisonous snake, to her breast and dies. And that is the sad story of Antony and Cleopatra. A tragedy for sure. And I'd say, I don't know, you could guess who experienced the greater tragedy, but they both came out dead. So that's the end of my summary of the history of Antony and Cleopatra. And the floor is open.
Say something.
Well, John, how faithful is Shakespeare's Antony and Cleopatra to this complicated history?
Uh, I haven't read it, and I haven't yet seen it. So I wanted to get the history down first, as I understand it, and I'll report after I've seen it.
Hey, John, it's Pepper. When are you going to go? And do you have any thoughts of like a group visit for one of the shows?
Yeah, I can tell you Ramsey wanted to go. So he'll he'll be joining us. I'll let you know what show that is.
Okay, that could be
Yeah.
fun. Thanks.
Let us all know. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Ramsey is well, you all know who Ramsey is. He's the big boss that started our fine little group. So.
Well, I know it's being shown over 2 weekends in San Francisco at the Jerry Garcia Amphitheater in McLaren Park on Labor Day weekend, and at the Sue Bierman Park near Embarcadero the next weekend, 2 p.m., Saturday, Sunday, and Monday of the Labor Day weekend, and 2 Saturdays and Sunday at the Sue Bierman Park at the 9th and, what are they, 9th and 19th and 27th. So there's 5 performances here in the city.
Okay. You've done your research.
I have. Plan to go.
Yeah.
Hey, John, we watched the movie Agora.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, boy, that is pretty brutal. And I tell you what, the Christians did not come out looking like they were not good people.
No.
The movie is called Agora. Would you remind us of it?
Pardon me?
Remind us of the movie Agora.
Yeah, Agora takes place in Alexandria in the 4th or 5th century. So it's a time of ferment. It's a time a heavy Jewish influence in the culture and the politics of Alexandria. But yeah, as Bruce says, the Christians are pretty aggressive and uh,
Yeah,
what's the
no,
right word? Just febrile. The- So
yeah, and the Agora, um, the woman that played, and that all had to do with Alexandria and the scrolls, the number of scrolls that they had, and trying to save them, and whether the sun revolved around the earth revolved around the sun, or whether the sun revolved around the earth, and uh, yeah, it was
Rudy,
a lot
you
of
want to turn the
story.
sound on again?
yeah, it's a feminist movie, wouldn't you say, Bruce?
Yeah, yeah, I guess it would be considered that because obviously the the woman that was portrayed there, she was um, very much scholarly, and and that was really about her.
Yeah, and she's trying to do what Galileo did 100 years later. Um, and I think it's her father, right, who's in charge of the library. Um, in any case, very good production values, and you get a feel for what Alexandria must have been like.
Yeah, no, it's Alexandria was really kind of an amazing place, and as I say, that how uh, any of these, the agora that and what, as you say, the feminist side of this thing was really pretty remarkable. And then, as I say, with the Jewish and with the Christians, and how it ends up, um, and as they're trying to sack the library and um, of all of the scrolls, and
Yeah, out of religious fanaticism.
yeah,
The woman was an actual female scientist, and I can't remember her name, but yeah, it's historical. So okay,
almost turns out hysterical, not historical. At any rate,
yeah, okay, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
well, I'm not sure we enjoyed it, but it would be we did watch it.
Yeah, it's gripping. Yeah. Okay, any other comments before we take off?
Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
Okay, see you next week.
Okay.
Great work, John.
Bye-bye.